guys, welcome to our channel. This is Hugo Valentin, and I'm here with Hugo Valentin Jr. bringing you Crash Remakes Compilation Volume 1. We've had so much fun during the years doing crashes, and today we're going to bring you a whole video of a lot of our crashes. So I hope you enjoy and crash. Have fun!
But the freight cars of fish were too heavy. Oops, said Thomas. Sorry.
A water tower fell over. And the roof blew right off Farmer McColl's barn.
So the next time Thomas saw Harry, he gave him a biff. And when Harry saw James, he gave him a bump. Soon the diesels and the steamies were biffing and banging and being bumped all over the island. Surprised Thomas, and straight into the snow. When he approached the chocolate factory, his driver applied the brakes, but Percy's wheels just skidded on the oily rails. "Oh no!" hooted Percy. He groaned. "I've never been this dirty."
And dropped the pipes onto the tracks instead of the trucks.
"Oh no," they cried, and splashed into the duck pond. Emily was covered in a floury mess.
Trying to grip the rails, Percy slid into the yard. Beep! Beep! Look out!
He rushed into a tunnel thinking how clever he was, but there was trouble ahead. "Cinders and ashes," said Thomas. "I am stuck." And he was. Thomas raced into the yard. Percy was coming the other way. Thomas bumped straight into Percy, and the bunting flew up in the air. He didn't see Gordon in the express until it was too late. The brake van passed Gordon. The tar wagons didn't. Luckily, no one was hurt. Then there was trouble. The tall funnel of the old barge crashed through a pipe. James was sure he'd get covered in sludge, but he didn't. He propped his bike against Percy's mail truck and rushed away. "Stop!" cried Percy, but Tom was out of sight. There was worse to come. Percy's driver hadn't seen the bike and he started away. "Oh no!" cried Percy. "Now there'll be trouble." And there was. Percy's driver quickly stopped the train. Everyone came running to the scene. Tom Tipper's bicycle was in pieces.
Careful, Thomas, called his driver, but it was too late. "That's done it," said his driver. "We shan't get any further today." Ahead was a tunnel under repair. His driver reduced steam and braked hard. But it was too late.
Gordon slid right through the station and into a siding. Everyone watched as he puffed into a big pile of snow. Yuck! Coughed Gordon. Luckily, no one was hurt.
Sliding past the board. Percy was frantic. Best he not. Percy was sunk.
Toby still didn't want to speak to the Fat Controller. Quickly, he reversed into a siding and didn't see that a big rock had fallen on the line. Bust by cowcatchers, he cried.
Disaster lay ahead. Something sticky splashed all over jeans.
But it was too late.
And he didn't see the goods train ahead until it was too late. Luckily, no one was hurt, but Gordon came off the rails.
But it was too late.
The twins left the quarry just in time. Everyone was safe, but rubble lay all around.
Oh dear, said Bill. This wasn't our fault. I hope Sir Topham Hatt will understand.
And indeed he did.
Gordon was waiting with the bandstand. Then there was trouble. Oh no, cried Thomas.
Runaway trucks are coming, he cried. You must change the points. The signalman quickly changed the points. The troublesome trucks hurtled into a siding. They biffed and bashed the bumpers.
Change the points.
He whistled long and loud as he approached the station. Suddenly, he saw a freight car on the line ahead. Get out of my way! But the freight car wouldn't move until Gordon forced it by accident.
He didn't see that the switch had failed and that he had been diverted into a siding. Look out, Percy, shouted his driver and applied the brakes, but it was too late. Washed fruit squirted all over Percy.
And into a field.
She did know best. But suddenly, there was a terrible noise. As the dust cleared, Emily saw what had happened. "Percy!" cried Mavis. "You're not supposed to be on this track." Emily was shocked. Then there was another loud crash. was Toby. His wheels had struck the telephone pole and he was derailed.
Then there was trouble. Remakes raced right off the track. The signal changed. Spencer and Thomas wheeshed away. Thomas was determined to win. The Fat Controller, Lady Hat, and the Duke and Duchess of Boxford were waiting on the platform at Kelsthorpe. Suddenly, there was a thundering and a whooshing. Spencer and Thomas were pumping their pistons and bubbling their boilers to arrive at Kelsthorpe first. Spencer screeched to a halt, but Thomas raced straight through the station. There was a rush of wind so big it blew the Fat Controller's hat right off his head. He blew his new whistle as loudly as he could. The little engines blew their whistles too. Sir Handel biffed his trucks in surprise. Flour flew up into the air like a great white cloud.
The barber had set up shop. He was shaving a customer.
Edward was in such a rush, he didn't ask the signalman. "Stop!" shouted the signalman. "That track is closed." Edward rattled round a bend and straight into a barrier. Parcels flew everywhere.
Something had jammed. The driver reduced steam, but Gordon was still going too fast.
Help me, please.
The holidaymakers watched as Mighty Mac bumped backwards and forwards. "Stop!" called the holidaymakers. "You're going to cause an accident." But it was too late. Mighty pushed Mac as hard as he could, and the carriage crashed into the rocks. First one rock fell, then another rock. Soon, lots of rocks came tumbling down. The track was blocked, and they were all stuck.
Neville was speeding through the countryside as fast as he could. Suddenly, Neville saw a barrier on the track. He slammed on his brakes. But it was too late. Neville was in terrible trouble. He was on the broken end of the bridge. Peter Sam shot forward. He bashed his flatbed so hard they burst through the buffers, smashed through the oil drums stacked on the wharf, and splashed into the canal.
Faster we go, pull him along, don't let him slow. Help! Cried Percy. His driver applied the brakes. But it was too late. He went off the rails at Bulgy's Bridge.
The water column stood at the end of the siding with the unsafe buffers. Suddenly, Percy found that he couldn't stop. The buffers didn't stop him either. "Oh!" wailed Percy. "Help!" The buffers were broken, and Percy was wheel-deep in coal.
And followed them into the siding. "Come back!" yelled his driver. "Fire and smoke," said Thomas.
Leave the coaches now and fetch some cars from the quarry. Cars, snorted Sir Handel. Cars. I won't. So there. Sir Handel was about to cause a great deal of trouble. Told you, said Sir Handel.
Stepney blew his whistle loudly. He's whistling at my carnival special, thought Rosie proudly. Oh my. But Stepney was whistling because the freight car of sugar was now rolling towards him. Stepney was covered in pink sugar from funnel to footplate.
But there was trouble ahead. Some faulty points sent his freight cars one way and Thomas onto the old pier rail. Whoa! The troublesome trucks were delighted. He's falling in the water!
Next morning, as James was being repainted, Henry had an accident. If you can't push cars properly, Henry, why not talk to a tree instead? You know how much you like the forest.
Took a big puff and blew as loud as he could. Help! Cried Henry.
Then there was trouble. The rusty coupling broke. Thomas's trucks were rolling by themselves. Cinders and ashes, cried Thomas. Thomas applied his brakes, but he stopped too quickly. The trucks bumped into the back of Thomas, and the coal spilled all over the tracks. Thomas was stuck.
But he was so busy watching the windmill sails that he forgot to look where he was going. I have to hurry, puffed Thomas. He heaved, he huffed, and he puffed, and he heaved so hard. The coupling broke. Thomas shot forward. Cocoa powder flew everywhere. Now I'll never get to take the children.
I must race ahead. Gordon pumped his pistons. Then there was trouble. Ben was shunting a flatbed of logs. Gordon biffed straight into them. The logs started to roll down the hill.
So Dennis raced away. Didn't care about the tires. He didn't care about Thomas. All he cared about was getting far away from his work. His wheels were spinning faster and faster. Then there was trouble. Help, called Dennis. Help! Help! But this time, there was no one there to help.
Scarlowy saw Rusty at a junction ahead. Rusty was pulling trucks of special ice cream. Out of my way, I can't stop. Rusty stopped right across the tracks. Scarlowy bashed into Rusty's trucks. Ice cream flew into the air and splattered all over the engines.
They diverted him onto old sidings, straight into a muddy pool.
Stopped at last.
With that, Diesel, as if to make himself quite clear, bumped some trucks hard. "Woo!" screamed the trucks. "Grrr," growled Diesel. Percy and Duck were horrified. Next morning, things were no better. Diesel's driver had not put his brakes on properly, and Diesel started to move. He went bump straight into Percy. Percy had an awful fright. "Wake up there, Percy," scowled Diesel. "You have work to do." He didn't even say he was sorry to Percy. Later, Diesel bumped the truck so hard that the loads went everywhere. "What will the Fat Controller say?" gasped Percy. "He won't like it," said Duck. he was still thinking about the difficult bend. Thomas went too fast and gave the coaches a mighty biff. The carriages rolled along the line and bumped into James. "Watch what you're doing," James snorted.
Help! Cried Percy. His driver applied the brakes. But it was too late. He went off the rails at Bulgy's bridge. Luckily, no one was hurt.
Percy was delivering a load of fresh tomatoes. Suddenly, he felt a big bump. "Bust my buffers!" Percy cried. "What was that?" Suddenly, there was a deep rumbling sound. Thomas's driver applied the brakes, but it was too late. "Cinders and ashes!" cried Thomas. "We're stuck!" And they were.
And when he could, it was too late.
He came over the top of a big hill. "You can't catch us!" laughed the troublesome trucks. But there was trouble ahead. Duck had stopped at the crossing at the bottom of the hill. Arthur's driver applied the brakes, but it was too late. Squashed fruit flew everywhere. Arthur was upset. His spotless record was ruined.
Percy hoped the signal at the junction would be green. He didn't want to stop next to the mine, but the signal was red. He had to stop. Suddenly, he saw something. "Bouncing buffers!" cried Percy. Percy hoped he wouldn't see anything else disappear. He slipped into the sidings and buffered up to the trucks. "Spooky!" stammered Percy. Suddenly, another building at the old mine sank into the ground. He was so scared he lurched forward and rammed the truck. "Naughty gnomes!" cried Percy. He steamed away faster than before, all the way back to Lower Tidmouth Station.
Sir Topham Hatt thinks I'm really useful. I had a race with Bertie once. I whooshed through the tunnel and stopped an inch from the buffers. Then Thomas made his mistake. "Just like this," he boasted.
"No!" shouted Isabella. But it was too late. "Oh, no!" he cried. "Whoops!" Jack sputtered.
His wheels started to slip and slide. "Oh my!" cried James. And he applied his brakes as hard as he could. Whoa! Edward tried to break his way, but it was too late. "Bust my buffers!" cried James.
Gordon puffed into the station. He was very excited. There were lots of people he could show off to. "Watch how smoothly I can go!" Gordon was so busy showing off, he didn't see how icy the track was. Gordon slid right through the station and into a siding. Everyone watched as he puffed into a big pile of snow. Yuck! Coughed Gordon. Luckily, no one was hurt.
His railway ran through a narrow gorge, but vehicles had to tackle a steep and dangerous road. When Toby arrived, he saw the lorry from the quarry again. It was loaded with rock. That lorry's in trouble, thought Toby. And he was. The driver was thrown clear. Rotten roads, he muttered. Suddenly, he was being pulled up the track by the empty slate cars. Bouncing bogies, he cried. It's got me. Duncan's driver jumped clear. Rusty returned to see Duncan being pulled up the incline. I tried to warn him, said Rusty. He never listens, the little diesel's driver said. The chain pulling Duncan's slate cars couldn't hold the weight. It suddenly snapped. Duncan plummeted down the incline. Help! He yelled. Glug, 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 he said. Bluggle my broiler.
Oh, help! Gordon cried as he slid off the tracks and into a field. No one was hurt, but poor Gordon felt very undignified.
Henry braked hard, but the freight cars hit some of the rubble and plunged into the ravine. Just then, Henry's driver saw a strange sight.
Gordon was cross and didn't care what he did. He waited till the table was halfway round. I'll show them, he hissed. He moved slowly forward to jam the table, but he couldn't stop himself and slithered into a ditch. Whoosh! He hissed. Get me out! Get me out! Not a hope, said his driver and fireman.
And when he could, it was too late.
Suddenly he saw the Fat Controller waiting by the track. Toby still didn't want to speak to the Fat Controller. Quickly he reversed into a siding and didn't see that a big rock had fallen on the line.
Heave ho, you can pull but we won't go, sang the trucks. This made Diesel very cross. He pulled and he pulled and he pulled and he pulled. Help! Grease and oil.
It was a good day of running today. I forgot where I put my sneakers, so that's why I'm running in these. So that was Crash Remakes compilation number 1. We're gonna be releasing new ones, and then we're gonna put all of them in a video also. So I'll see you later and next time for the next Crash Remakes compilation. Hope you enjoyed. Like, subscribe, and comment for more videos like these. And we'll see you next time. Peace.